the man was glad that he had the opportunity, watch this and I'm going to close, to go back to the people that left him behind. Oh, y'all didn't get that yet. The man was happy. He was glad for the opportunity to get back to the ones that dumped him, dismissed him, discarded him. Come on, somebody. He was happy to be able to get back to the enemy's camp. And just say to them, I'm back. Oh, my God. In other words, he was glad to go back and say, you left me for dead. But look at me. I'm still here. You ought to look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I'm still here. Oh, as I close, my sisters and brothers, you ought to thank everybody who dropped you. You ought to thank everybody who rejected you, because now you're part of a new story. You ought to look the enemy in the eye and say, you left me for dead, but I'm back and I'm still here. Oh, bless his name. Go on and hit the key, boy. I'm ready to go here. My. Look at somebody and say, I'm still here. Bless his name. Somebody ought to lift your hand right now and say, I'm going to make it. I might be broken, but I'm back. I might be wounded, but I'm still here. I might be bleeding, but I'm still coming out. I might be crying, but I'm still here. I may be confused, but here I am. I might be rejected, but I'm coming out of here. I know I'm not everything I should be. I'm still struggling with some habits and hang-ups. I'm still wrestling with some anger and forgiveness issues. I still slip up every once in a while. I still say some things that I shouldn't say. I know I'm not where I should be, but I know I'm moving in the right direction. Bless his name. Somebody ought to lift up your hands and thank God that you made it through the storm. It should have killed you, but you made it. Bless his name. God had mercy on you, and you made it. You shouldn't have made it. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't have made it through the storm. But just tell the devil, I'm still here, and I ain't going nowhere. Medical science says some of you should have died. Legal advisors said some of you should be in jail. Natural circumstances say you should not have made it. It should have killed you. You should be in a mental institution. Somebody ought to be strung out on drugs, mad with God, mad with the world. But I came to tell somebody that not only are you going to make it, but you're not even going to look like what you've been through. Yeah! My God. When the children of Israel went through the Red Sea, God didn't just part the waters, but he dried the ground that they walked on. And when they reached the other side, there wasn't even mud in between their toes. For a little bit, it looked like the enemy was closing in on them. It looked like they were going to overtake them. But while they were walking, God was taking care of their enemies. While they were walking, their enemies were drowning. Look at your neighbor. Tell your neighbor, Just keep on walking. It doesn't matter what they say about you. Keep on walking. It doesn't matter what they do. Keep on walking. It doesn't matter what the doctor says. Keep on walking. It doesn't matter what the rebellious child does. Keep on walking. It doesn't matter what the financial report says. Keep on walking. This is no place to sit down and cry. Just keep on walking. And when God gets through blessing you, you won't even look like what you've been through. Yes, they left me for dead. Thought I wouldn't make it. Thought I wouldn't go higher. Thought I wouldn't be here. Bless his name. But I'm glad to report to the enemy, you left me on the ground. You left me bleeding to death. You left me without any medical attention. You left me all by myself. You left me with no food or water. You left me with no encouragement. You left me and thought I was going to die. Bless his name. But I'm back with more anointing. I'm back with a renewed purpose. I'm back with a new mind. I'm back and I'm going higher. I'm going deeper. Yeah. I gotta close. Bless his name. My. Perhaps somebody needs some evidence. Lord have mercy. That God is who he is. There's a man in California. His name is Nidal. He filed a suit against his school district and said because they use in the Pledge of Allegiance one nation under God, and he sued them. The case is in the Supreme Court of the United States, and they put the case on hold. They said the case has merit because if there's a separation between church and state, then why would a governmental institution have you speak the word God? Come on, somebody. But it's on hold because the school district sued back and said that he didn't have standing because he was a non-custodial parent. And so he didn't have standing because he was not a parent whose child was in the school district. And so the man is now trying to get custody of his daughter so that he could have standing and have one nation under God struck from the Pledge of Allegiance. Bless his name. And he said once he does that, he's going after the money. Because your money says, in God we trust. And so he says, why would a governmental institution that says there's a separation between church and state print God on their money? And so they were interviewing the man on television. And they said, why are you so dead set on striking any terms for the word God out of the public sphere? No, take me back where I was. Out of our vocabulary. Bless his name. And the man said, the only problem I have for all of those Christian folk and folk who believe in God, where is proof? Where is your evidence? Bless his name. And so I'm wondering if I can get some folk here in Spring of Hope that whenever this court comes up in the Supreme Court that will go with me to Washington, D.C., gather up some more saints to try to gather up some evidence that God is God. Bless his name. You see, in law school, they have what they call mock trials. And as I close, I just want to have a mock trial. Bless his name. And I want to defend God. And I just want to bring forth several points of evidence. Bless his name. And so here's what we're going to do. When I call forth the evidence, if you are part of that evidence, I want you to stand up and say, I am the evidence. Bless his name. Now y'all down, court is now in session. Bless his name. Well, who are you, sir? I'm Talbert Swan from Springfield, Massachusetts. And my client, God, is on trial. And before I close this case, I'm going to prove that he's guilty of being God. Bless his name. And so, Your Honor, I just want to call Exhibit A. There's some folk that was sick and couldn't get well. Bless his name. And they know that he is Jehovah Rapha, the God that heals. If that's you, stand up and say, I am the evidence, for he was wounded for my transgression. He was bruised for mine iniquity. The chastisement of my peace was upon him, and by my stripes you are healed. Bless his name. Exhibit B. There were some folk that should be in a mental institution. There were some folk that were depressed and despondent. Bless his name. But they know that he is Jehovah Shalom, God of peace, and he kept my mind in perfect peace. I should be crazy. I should have committed suicide, but I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. Say yeah. If that's you, stand up and say, I am the evidence. Yeah. I just want to present just one more exhibit. Look at somebody, say, Exhibit C. Bless his name. There were some folk in here who didn't know how they were going to make ends meet. Did not know where the next meal was coming from. Did not know how they were going to keep the house from going into foreclosure. Did not know how they were going to keep the car from being repossessed. Did not know that they were going to get a pink slip on the job. Bless his name. But they will stand up and tell you that my client is Jehovah Jireh, the God that will provide. Bless his name. He picked me up. He turned me around. He placed my feet on solid ground. The devil thought you were gonna die, but God lifted you. God made a way for you